Well, the reaction to Manchester City's 4-1 win over Arsenal. They think it's all over. Destroyed. Masterclass Golden Bruyne. Pep Guardiola's men now in full control of the title race. Arsenal still leaders, but as you know, the gap is down to 2 points and City still have 2 games in hand. Let's hear from both managers speaking after this clash.
First of all, we have to lift our players because they suffered tonight and they played against an exceptional team. They know that, but we are an exceptional team as well. But today we were at the races at the level that it was required to win the game. I don't think they were scared, but obviously the way that we started the game, it didn't help at all because we put ourselves in trouble in many situations, and we lost all the races. We lost all the first, second balls, the first 30 minutes, all the basic things that you have to do against an exceptional team in terms of competing, in terms of win doers, in terms of understanding what the game requires. We didn't do it, and we got punished, and we could have been punished even more.
I don't underestimate absolutely 1 second the opinion about Arsenal at all. At all. I know how good they are. In all the games you see have momentum, they concede the goals or whatever that's happened, but I give credit, incredible credit to what they have done. What they have done. I prefer to think maybe they didn't have in their best level because we were really, really good.
They were better in every department. They were better. They were more aggressive. They kept the ball better. They won every single duel. We never had a chance to win the game, and that we have to improve and be better and be humble enough to accept that. And in sport, you have to do that. You want to be better.
We've got to go to our resident Arsenal fan, who has been the most optimistic of the panel for Arsenal's title chances, apart from Kieran Gibbs, but that doesn't count as much, given that he played for Arsenal. How optimistic are you about things now, Jules?
Obviously, much less optimistic, because it's in City's hands, and seeing the form that they are in, this incredible run of wins now, 13 in a row in all competition, it's hard to see them dropping points in the remaining games in the Premier League to crumble a little bit and let Arsenal coming back. Arsenal still are 2 points ahead until City play the game in hand. It will maybe stay like this, and there's still games to go. But right now it's hard to see City not winning this title. But Arsenal have to stay positive, and there's no shame being beaten, even well beaten by an amazing team like this. There's no shame by losing to a better team than you anyway. I guess the disappointment is that Arsenal didn't really turn up and were never at the races. But like Guardiola said himself, they probably were not because City were so good, and the tactical plan from Pep worked so well, the way they build up from the back with 4 instead of 3 like they've done most of the season, the way they pressed as well, the De Bruyne positioning, the Gundogan positioning, Akanji against Shaka, a right footer against Shaka on the right wing, Martinelli against Walker on the other side, and Walker's pace, for example, not that he had to use it much. But I think everything that Pep did just worked perfectly, plus Haaland, of course, in that kind of form. So well done to City. This is still a learning curve for Arsenal. You can't really compare a team, I speak like City are and so dominant, to a young Arsenal team, up and coming, clearly progressing rapidly, but not at this level. Yeah, of course, the aim is to be like City one day. They might never get there, Arsenal, but certainly the progress that they've made this season is very encouraging still.
City flexed their muscles. City flexed their muscles. Big time. But I was very optimistic about Arsenal too. And really this league title shouldn't really have hinged around this game. As big as people were building it up, it just shouldn't. And that's down to Arsenal. 2-0 up at Liverpool, 2-0 up away at West Ham, and then cannon fodder at home in Southampton. At home. So, I know it's ifs, buts and maybes, but a full-flowing Arsenal that they were in the first half at Liverpool, it then disintegrated. If they had done their job that they've done, like they have done for most of the season, they could have wiped this Man City performance and result away and still probably went on and been big favourites to win the league. But they put themselves in such a difficult position because of those 3 games. Because of the way that they fell apart at Anfield, because of the way that they dominated West Ham and then they got caught. And it's unforgivable, really, and you're not, you know, if you have a big chance to go out against Southampton in the bottom of the table and wipe the floor with them as the top team in the Premier League, and I get it, teams are fighting for survival. Sometimes it's not that easy, but they're poor. They are poor. Then the Man City game is not as big as everybody thinks, but they propelled themselves into a position where they were under pressure and they lost confidence and they started to doubt themselves. And with that, they met a team, and I keep saying it, with all the big hitters flying. And City puffed their chest out. And yeah, all the tactical stuff Gilles talked about, the clipping it in to Haaland, to De Bruyne constantly getting behind the midfield and making runs. All those things were a consequence of Arsenal's hesitancy. They were hesitant because they were in a position that they had to get the job done. And they were only in that position because they absolutely threw points away in the previous 3 games. And as Joe said, that's not bottling it. They just have to learn from it. They have to build a squad, they have to learn from it, but I don't see them recovering to put any pressure on Man City now. I think City just steamroller ahead, pick teams off, concentrate on the FA Cup, the Champions League, get the job done early, and Arsenal have to go away and have a rethink. That's how, well, not a rethink, they have to go away and have a good think about the squad and where it needs strengthened and how they build on a great season so far for next season.
Like, if you're Arsenal and you're looking for a glimmer of hope, it's in that City have to play 9 games between now and the end of the season. The FA Cup final comes after the end of the season if they get by Real Madrid, so is the Champions League final. But at the very least, between now and the end of the domestic season, City have to play 9 to Arsenal's 5.
Shaq,
but you're hoping.
He can leave a guy out who scored the hat-trick in the FA Cup semi-final. He can leave, you know...
I'm just saying, if I'm Arsenal, if I'm Jules and an Arsenal fan, I'm looking for hope, some kind of hope. That's the only place I can find it, that they have that many games. But for me, I thought Arsenal threw it away against Liverpool. I thought that was a defining game, where you are 2 up at the break. Yes, I firmly put that at Granit Xhaka, but even so, you have to recognize where you are. In that halftime team talk, you have to get back control of the emotion of the game. A big part about winning league titles is about game management. And I just thought that between Arsenal and Arteta, they didn't manage that game well at all. And then they found themselves chasing it. They cruising against West Ham, but a couple of little mistakes, Thomas Partey giving the ball away, Bukayo Saka missing a penalty, and again, you do not manage the situation well. And then you go chasing it against Southampton and give yourselves a bigger task, where I just felt that at Liverpool, that was an opportunity to send a message, to understand what was needed, and once that went, now all of it, as I say, you're just chasing things as best you can. And then you come up against Manchester City in the form that they're in. And while I sit here and I say that Pep Guardiola needs to stop overthinking things, just put your best 11 out and let them play, those little changes of formation and tactics shows why City are so dominant, at the very least domestically, while everybody else is still playing catch-up.
With the focus on Arsenal, we know L'Équipe, the French sports paper, is notoriously stingy when it comes to player ratings. So, Frank, we wanted to show you the ratings they gave to Arsenal's players. Do you have any issue with them?
Yes, especially with Holding. You know, I think he was responsible for many occasions with Haaland where he was too close to him and allowed Haaland to turn around him and didn't do his job as he should have done. And Odegaard, 4, I didn't see him. I didn't know that he was playing. Suddenly I say, where is he? And that's the difference between De Bruyne with more experience and young players like Odegaard, Shaka, and maybe others, where Martinelli, where we didn't see them yesterday, and where De Bruyne was shining during almost during the whole game. So that's the difference. They have to get more experience. They have to be more mature, and they have to show their talent where the team need them the most. So, well, that's fine by me. And can I go back just like a second on the game yesterday? And what I was explaining yesterday, I want to be hard and maybe a little bit harsh on Arteta. You concede 7 goals in the last 3 games, and you come to City, to the Etihad Stadium, you know, thinking that your own game, the way you play, is going to be enough to disturb Manchester City. I talked about that, and Craig was there, when I say, no, maybe for the first 20, 25 minutes, park the bus, try to defend, be solid. If you concede a goal, you know, maybe you can change your tactic. But there were no plan B coming to the Etihad Stadium after conceding 7 goals in 3 games. I was very surprised, and I have to say, a bit disappointed by the situation.
Well, actually, when you think back to the 3 games before City and you add the goals up, I think it's 11 goals they've conceded. And I don't think it's any surprise. Whilst I'm not suggesting they would have had 4 clean sheets, I don't think there is much debate to be had around the fact that they have missed Saliba a lot. Mm-hmm. And even the fact Tomiyasu is injured has meant that they couldn't shuffle Ben White, who is a centre-back, into centre-half and put Tomiyasu at right back. And I'm not suggesting 11 goals are Rob Holding's fault, not at all. But it's just not a good partnership with Gabriel, whilst the Saliba-Gabriel partnership has been, in some sense, along with other facets of the team, the real cornerstone. So the Saliba injury, which I think he got against Sporting Club, might be wrong, has been a huge blow for this Arsenal defence.
Jules is nodding away, so you get the Laurens stamp of approval.
According to Stevie, they only played Sporting Club last week, though. So.
Yeah, according to Stevie, that did only take place last week.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.